Good morning, folks. I don't know how many of you have been up on and on through the night with the thunderstorms. Excuse me. It's kind of cool, the lightning, and kind of made you just want to hunker down, put your head under the pillow, which is where a lot of us are feeling like these days. So I'm going to just sit here for a minute and listen to some Glenn Miller and wait for a couple of people to show up. Um, so when you come in, if you would, uh, just say I'm here or good morning, something. Yesterday I didn't have my feed working on the side, and so I'm wondering if um, people just were late getting in, or my 7-ish became more like 7. Hey, good morning, Lindsay. Thank you for posting. Good morning. Starting out with a little Glenn Miller this morning. Kind of would be my comfort music is big bands. So, so we're starting out the day like that. Um, so if you're on, tell me how you're feeling today on a scale of 1 to 10. I know it's early, but let me know how you're feeling about things and just about being where you are. I realized this morning that I'm kind of getting into a little pattern. I don't want to say a routine, but a pattern. Um, just kind of getting up and stretching and coming into the computer and having a little bit of coffee time with my lady friends. It's funny to me that the only people who get up for a 7 o'clock devotion are women, or at least if they're men, they're lurking and they're not telling me that they're here. Now we're getting a roll here. Okay, I will turn off Glenn. Actually, it's kind of backwards. This is the Moonlight Serenade. So, good morning to you all. I'm going to start out this morning. We'll be a little shorter this morning. I realized I'm getting a little windier and moving on a little too long, waiting for everybody to get in, which is just silly because if they're late, they can watch it on video. So I will try to stay to, 10 minutes was kind of what I was shooting for at the beginning. So also would like, if you have a minute, or while I'm talking or while you're thinking or before you leave, my feed is back today, so I can see what you're posting while you're posting it. Um, kind of wondering what you're thinking about as far as what would be the biggest thing you're concerned about, or is there something that I can address, a topic or something that I can address? Trying to just kind of stay with connecting us to God in the morning, and letting the concerns that you have connect to what God has given me, because I usually work on these the evening before, kind of try to feel how I'm feeling, and then sort of deal with that and address that. So that's kind of how I'm choosing this. But if you've got a topic or a verse or a Bible question or anything that you want to feed me some information, then I'd be happy to kind of use that as my agenda for these morning devotions. But I have to tell you, I'm looking forward to these now. It's like going out, as I said before, it's kind of like going out with the girls for coffee. So thank you for supporting me by just being up with me and letting me know that we can connect at almost any time of the day. So we're going to begin this morning lighting our candles. So if you have a candle, go ahead and light your candle. Um, I really enjoyed and there's Bob Eichelberger and Karen as well. Wonderful. Bob, so far you are our solo guy. And so thank you for being with us. I was wondering where the men had gone. So, so I appreciate it. Yesterday I started out kind of um, with the idea of silence, and how God connects with us in the silence. I remember, if you recall, I read the story of Elijah, and how Elijah encountered God. And it wasn't in all these places where people often expect God to be, where God is, of course, but looking for God in the earthquake and the whirlwind and the fire, and then actually discovering that God comes to us the most, the strongest, I think, and probably the most meaningful and healing for us in the still small voice, or the sheer silence. That word can be translated a number of ways, but sometimes I like to read it to myself as the still small voice. Sometimes I like to read it as the sheer silence. So you can pick your translation, and that's one of the cool things about the original languages. You can kind of use the translation that might work the best for you in whatever you're doing on that day. So I wanted to continue today with a little bit of reflection on silence. Uh, and again, I'm using a book. It's an old book that I've had on my shelf forever called Wellsprings. Let me figure out how to get that here. A book of spiritual exercises, and it's by Anthony DeMello, um, who is a Jesuit brother. And I have gone back to this over and over and over again in my career, in my ministry, um, for myself. These are kind of guided reflections, guided by the fact that you're reading it through the book. So and I think as we root ourselves in silence, the bridge that I'm trying to make here is that when you let yourself be silent, um, that's really when some of the best things happen. When you just, and I'm thinking of a number of illustrations in my own life. Probably the best times um, are when Roger and I are just sitting in our two reading chairs and just being together, just being silent and being together, whether we're reading or just thinking or napping, those kinds of things. Those are moments that are really precious, and I know you probably have those, especially those of you who had children who were with you, living with you. Those moments that where everybody is just quiet, is just kind of, those are the moments, unfortunately, when you have little ones, I remember back in the day, um, those are the moments when they've just drifted off to sleep. But imagine how it would be when they just want to, just be by you and be quiet. You don't have to be doing anything, or read them a story or whatever. But those little pinpoint moments in our lives when things are silent. um, I hope that you all tried the 5 minutes of silence, and I would be interested in hearing, um, kind of how you experienced that. Was it? Some people say it's kind of horrifying to stop for 5 minutes and just kind of let your brain go wherever it wants to go. So try that again. If you did it yesterday and liked it, please do it again. If you didn't do it yesterday, do it. And if you did it yesterday and you didn't like it, do it again. Um, 5 minutes of silence as soon as we close today, I think it opens up that space, that silent space where God will speak, kind of that wilderness where Jesus used to go, that quiet place where Jesus used to go, the place apart from the others where Jesus used to go. So let's follow Jesus into the quiet and into the silence. I'm going to read this one. This is the title one, called Wellsprings. Excuse me. And I'm going to just read a couple of, it's like in couplets. So I'm going to read a couple of lines and then give you a minute to kind of reflect on the lines that I read and put it into your own context. So here's the Wellsprings. I seek the sources of refreshment, sustenance, and healing that my spirit, like my body, is constantly in need of. I am made whole again. My self is given back to me in solitude and silence. So now I seek to silence word and thought, by being conscious of the sounds around me or the sensations of my body or my breathing. I am energized by love. So I recapture and relive the times when I felt loved, cared for, and treasured. Today, I see myself going out in love to friends, to those who are in need, and to every living creature. I come alive in times of creativity. How does it find expression in my life? I get peace and healing from my roots in nature. I recall what happens when I am in harmony with the earth and the sky, with mountains, rivers, oceans, and nature's many moods and nature's seasons. I find everything in prayer, which is for me fragrance and food, a home, a shield, a tonic. I recall the seasons of my prayer, the moments I cry out in despair, the days of glad thanksgiving, the times of stillness, presence, adoration. And I recite a prayer or a song or a poem that I have come to love, that I wish to have beside me all through my life, and shall want my lips to say when I am dying. So this morning, be still and know that I am God. Tell me what you would have me hear, O Lord. Reach inside my body and take my heart in your hands. Guide me. Open my eyes to the need right around me in my neighborhood. Give me courage to wave to that person I've never met. Give me courage to reach out to that person I haven't seen. Give me courage to be calm, to stay inside in myself and in my home. Give me courage to live these coming days, not for myself, but for my tribe, for my people, for those who do not know which way to turn. Lord, you are my rock and my shield. You are my resting place. You are my solace. You are my strength. Amen. I hope that you are. Kathy Hayes says she can't remember what day it is, and I kind of get that. Um, so I'm assuming if Bill is with you, we got two guys today, so we're increasing our male attendance. I think that's great. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. I put my nose outside the door just for a minute before I started, and it smells like spring. Uh, the the rain and whatever happened last night kind of washed away some of the dustiness of just how it felt outside, and it feels good this morning. So please, Lord, be with all of us as we go through our days. Please be with our team as we start thinking about planning for Holy Week and Easter. Um, and I hope that if you have any ideas about how we might be more meaningful for you during Holy Week and Easter, please let me know. Um, we're always looking for input. So I'm so glad you were with me this morning, and I'm going to leave you as we started out with one of my favorites from Glenn Miller, The Moonlight Serenade. Have a great day.